So the last chapter of the decentralized book actually has a note before it that says, "For pastors only." Now I'm going to confess something to you. I wrote that there in hopes that everyone would read it. There's this part of me that's like, if it says for pastors only, I mean, I know your average person, and your average person is like, what? I'm reading that. And it really was my hope that people would read it. The last chapter is called The Cursed Back Door. And the reason I wrote about this is because there's this whole thought process in churches that I think most people don't really know is going on, but it has a big impact on everyone who's a part of a church. The thought process goes like this. We want in churches to close the back door. In other words, we want to get people into our churches and then make sure they never, ever, ever leave. Now, I have a problem with that. And the problem I have with it is that it's not a good way to lead. In fact, it's really an unkind and oftentimes cruel way to lead. And it's not because I don't care about people. I love our church. I love the people who are a part of the church that I get to be a part of. But I love them enough also to recognize sometimes they got to go. And they should go. And so the issue with the back door is it becomes a control thing. We got you in, now we want to keep you. Now, I had to learn these lessons the hard way, and they have been hard lessons. I can't tell you how many people, made the decision to leave a church that I was leading, and then there was this part of me that's like, well, I should chase them down. I should try to keep them to stay. I should find out what's going on. Now, I think there's always wisdom in discovering, why somebody may want to leave an organization and do something else. You can learn some things and maybe make some proper adjustments. But there's a problem when you start making deals with people that says, hey, why are you leaving? Well, I'm going to go to this other church because they have this particular ministry. And then you as a leader say, well, we could have that ministry. And then maybe you're starting ministries that God never intended for you to start. Another church had that ministry, and maybe that community only needs one church doing that ministry and allocating the resources for that. But then we start copying and then who are we following? Are we really following Jesus? Are we really a part of the church? I mean, the whole kingdom? Are we really focused on our little isolated kingdoms, our lowercase c churches, and not recognizing that God's doing so much and that people are his sheep and he is the shepherd and he can lead his sheep wherever he wants them to be, and they ought to be free to go. So my whole ministry philosophy for years, and I've been sharing this over and over again, and people just kind of look at me like I'm crazy, is forget the back door, blow out the back wall. Just knock it down completely. That as a church, we really become a sending church. We receive and we send, we receive and we send. And people who would like to stay and be a part and share in the work that's going on, great. But somebody who may be led to be somewhere else, we should send them, not try to keep them or control them. Because the problem is if you really lock that back door and borrow it, then it's hard for people to leave. And when it's hard for people to leave, that's when things get nasty. I don't know if you've ever heard these stories before. You probably have them yourself about feeling like a church has hurt or burned you. Oftentimes that happens because people should have left, should have been a part of another church, should have been doing something else in God's kingdom, but it was too hard to leave. They couldn't find a way out. And so they had to tunnel under the back wall, scale a 10-foot fence, go over barbed wire, hope that they don't get shot in the back on the way out. It's so hard. Where if we would just blow out that back wall, receive and send, then people go with a blessing instead of a curse. That back door is a curse. Knock out the back wall. Be free. So then, wherever God has you, you're free to make the most of it and enjoy being a part of his church.